All right. Hey, team. Thank you again so much for being on tonight's team call. We're going to start the call off tonight with Melissa Moser sharing and talking about our Plexus ProBio5. So, Melissa, it's all yours.
Okay, I'm not getting anything. Now I can hear you guys.
I see you, but you keep going in and out.
Yeah, maybe try it now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi here. So repeat what you just said because I didn't hear any of that.
Well, I just welcomed everyone to our team call, and then that we were going to be kicking the call off tonight with you sharing and talking about our Plexus ProBio5. So now It's all yours.
All right. Well, please stop me and wave your hands or something if you don't hear me or something like that, because I don't know, our Wi-Fi is going in and out, I guess. So first, before we get started into this one is a lot more detailed than Lim is. As you guys know, probiotic can do so much. So I'm really going to go into detail, and just so you guys know, for compliance purposes, this is more of an FYI for your knowledge versus things that you should be posting on your Facebook. So if you hear me mention certain health conditions or something like that, just be very careful. That's obviously something that you can talk in private with someone about, but we're not diagnosing anything. We're not saying we're curing anything. These are just things that have been reported and studied that the probiotic could possibly, or the ingredients could possibly help with. So just to start kind of basic to define what a probiotic actually is, because it's come to my attention, a lot of people don't know what that is. A probiotic it's basically live organisms that you're putting into your body. Your body is made of billions and billions of live organisms, of good and bad bacteria and yeast. And you need a balance between both. You need both bad and you need both good. So when the bad becomes too overabundant, that's when we start to have a lot of health issues. And unfortunately, due to our modern diets, due to antibiotics, due to stress, things like that, then we start to grow too much of the bad bacteria and it starts to overpopulate, basically. So your probiotics are going to restore that balance in your body, which will help digest your food better, absorb your nutrients better, build your immune function, eliminate sugar cravings, amongst many other things. There are two other terms that you need to be aware of when it comes to probiotics in general, and that is strain and culture. Those are two different things in a probiotic. A strain actually describes, there's 5 strains in our specific probiotic. There are a lot more strains out there. We have 5 that are awesome that I will tell you exactly what they do, but there are a lot out there. So it's possible that you will have someone, I know Marissa did, had someone asking for a specific strain. If we don't have it, it doesn't mean that our probiotic isn't as good. It's very possible we have a strain that does something very similar to that, and that's why we've chosen not to have that in our probiotic, because our 5 strains are very, very, very high quality. The other term is cultures. That is, I tell people, that's your strength. That's how strong it is. Ours has 2 billion cultures per pill. That is not very strong, to be completely honest with you, and there's a reason, which I will explain in a minute. But that's another feedback, negative feedback that you might get. Me particularly, in my vitamin store, the strongest one we had was 100 billion in one particular pill. That's very strong. A standard probiotic that you get from a vitamin store, what they're doing is they're basically flooding in the good probiotics to kind of, in essence, in layman's terms, push out the bad. That's basically what it's doing. That's not what ours does, because ours is completely different, and we actually are trying to get to the root cause of what all these issues are, rather than just masking it by pushing out the bad bacteria, if that makes sense. So what makes our probiotic different is it's actually not just a probiotic. It is 3 products in one. The first type of product it is obviously a probiotic, which I said we have 5 different strains, which I will describe in a little bit. The second part of it is we have digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes are completely different than probiotics. They're going to help you break down your food so that your body better and excrete what you don't need. I give everybody the example of people that are lactose intolerant. People that are lactose intolerant, if they drink milk or if they eat pizza or something like that, they get what I like to refer to as bubble guts. Their stomach starts to hurt. They might have diarrhea. They have a lot of issues, and they cannot eat anything with lactose in it. So they take an enzyme called lactase. That's just one example of many. Each different enzyme does something different, and it breaks down a different type of food. So that's the second part of our probiotic. We also have an antifungal in there. I actually learned today that a couple of our ingredients act as antifungals, but the main one we'll talk about is your grapeseed extract. So again, that's 3 products in one, which is huge, because if you go to a vitamin store and you try to buy all 3 of these products, you're going to be spending a heck of a lot more money than what ProBio5 costs. I can promise you that. So basically, our ProBio5, like I said, it kind of gets to the root of the issue rather than just masking what it is. The other thing that's a little bit different about ours that I've never come across is we help fight off candida. We don't kill candida completely, because everybody has candida and you need candida. Candida becomes a problem when it overgrows in your body. That's when it starts to cause issues. And before I talking about candida, I kind of want to tell you guys, with my experience with probiotics, when I worked in the vitamin store, I did a lot of research on probiotics. I read and read and read how wonderful they were and how all the benefits that they were supposed to give you. So I tried them. I sold them. I never saw a single solitary benefit of it. So when I joined Plexus, I didn't take the ProBio5 because I genuinely I don't buy into the hype. I didn't think that it was really what it was all hyped up to be. And I was dead wrong. I'll tell you that right now. It's completely wrong. And so I will put money on our probiotic versus any other probiotic that I've ever seen. Another important aspect of our probiotic is that you don't have to refrigerate it. You would have asked me 2 years ago what a good quality probiotic is. It must be in the refrigerator. It's manufactured cold, it's shipped cold, and it's stored cold because it's a live organism. So how else is it going to live? Well, those are very expensive. I can tell you that, the only ones I've seen are $40 plus for 1 month's supply, and you have to take 3 to 4 pills to get the ingredients that they need. And ours is actually freeze dried. So that's what actually maintains its shelf life, so to speak. Now, we were talking a little bit about candida. Candida, like I said, everyone has it. But the problems arise when it overgrows, which is caused by our diet, our stress, and antibiotics, which most of us have taken at some point in time in our life. Symptoms of candida, we've all seen the meme that floats around our pages that say the different symptoms of candida, but let me tell you, I did some research on it today, and it is so much more than what is on that actual meme. Some of these symptoms that I read about from candida include this: adrenal fatigue, leaky gut, inability to focus, poor memory, brain fog, irritability, depression, panic attacks, low libido, extreme fatigue, hyperactivity, sweets and alcohol cravings, insomnia, acid reflux, bloating, gas, nausea, diarrhea, constipation, stomach cramps, indigestion, hemorrhoids, acne, cysts, night sweats, psoriasis, eczema, nail fungus, athlete's foot, thrush, halitosis, sore throat, sinus congestion, asthma, ears, otherwise known as tinnitus. Let me see here. Ear infections, yeast infections, chronic urinary tract infections, allergies, sensitivity to foods, inability to lose weight, water retention, headaches, and chronic pain. That's only some of them. those are only the big ones that I wrote down. Now, that's not to say that every single person that has these symptoms has candida overgrowth, but you can see why this is misdiagnosed so often, that some of these things, doctors don't realize that it might just be simply a candida issue versus the things that they prescribe all these prescriptions for. So it's one of the least diagnosed things that a lot of people are finally starting to understand, that before going on prescriptions for a lot of these problems, like arthritis, people automatically think they'll diagnose the pain in your hands and thinks it's arthritis. Well, it might actually be from candida overgrowth. So those are things, to me, that's a simpler fix than saying you have arthritis for the rest of your life. So to go into the ingredients themselves, this is where it gets really in-depth. So if you need me to slow down so you can take notes or anything like that, just let me know. But I'm going to go through all the major ingredients and tell you the basics of what they're used for and why they're in our particular ProBio5. Vitamin C is one small ingredient in there. Obviously, most of us know that it helps with your immune function, but what I didn't know is it actually can help with your candida overgrowth, and that's why it's put into our ProBio5. It does this by supporting adrenal function. Typically, adrenal fatigue and candida overgrowth kind of go hand in hand. Usually, if you have one, you have the other. It also boosts your immune system, and it actually increases your stomach acidity, which slows the overgrowth of the candida. Now, I'll stop there for a minute, because we all know that we talk about having an alkaline system so that you can stop cancer from thriving and things like that in your environment. That's what our BioCleanse is for. The pH in your system is very sensitive, and it's a balancing act. So you do have to be very careful with that. But specifically in your stomach, in order to stop the candida, that's why vitamin C is important, because it does increase the acidity level in your digestive system. But as a whole for your body, being more on the alkaline side is typically a better option. More healthy. B6 is the second ingredient, and that has a lot of functions, but for these purposes, we'll just mention that it helps with your immune function. The next blend is going to be all of your digestive enzymes. As I mentioned before, they help break down your food, and they specifically help break down fungus and yeast. This is actually a really, really big reason why our ProBio5 is as good as it is, because the digestive enzymes actually help break down the fungus and yeast in our body and the outside layer of some of so that the probiotics can actually get into the body and help fix what the problem is. First one is protease, which is it's a protein digestive enzyme. It's going to help you break down proteins. Next one is the one that everybody talks about, the chitosanase, however everybody pronounces it. That's going to help break down your chitin, which is a type of carbohydrate, and that is actually on the outside layer of the fungus and the yeast in your body. So if this helps break down the outside layer of it, that allows the probiotics to permeate the fungus and the yeast and actually help kill them off and rid them of your body. Cellulase is the other thing that helps break down the outside of fungus and yeast, which I'll be honest, I did not know. It also helps break down fruits and vegetables in your diet. The last digestive enzyme is called serrapeptase. Forgive me if I butcher that. I don't know how to pronounce it. And that is another one that helps break down your protein. So kind of back to the chitokinase and the cellulase, they attack the outer wall of the candida yeast, which allow it to be removed from the intestinal tract. That is the biggest part of our probiotic. And I actually thought that was linked more to the probiotics than the digestive enzymes. But those are very, very, very important ingredients that I promise you will not find in very many other digestive products out on the market. Moving on to the probiotic strains. There are 5 of them, like I mentioned before. The first one, Bacillus coagulans. What that does is it produces a change in the intestinal environment by replenishing the quality and the quantity of your good bacteria and decreasing pathogens. Pathogens cause disease. So in theory, this could actually stop your body from even developing a disease in the first place. Lactobacillus acidophilus, this is a big one. It's very well known. That is bacteria found in your intestines, your mouth, and in the female genitalia. It produces vitamin K, and here's a big part. This is very big for people. It also produces lactase, which I previously mentioned, helps break down milk fat. So for people that are lactose intolerant, no, we don't have lactase enzyme in our product, but we do have this probiotic that helps our body naturally produce it. So that's why people that are lactose intolerant can actually start to, a lot of them can start to eat dairy type of foods and not have the same bad reactions, the bubble guts, like I like to call it, that they were having prior to that. And the imbalance, if you don't have enough of this particular probiotic in your body, this is what can cause yeast infections, chronic UTIs, and digestive issues. So this is one of the more studied and more proven probiotics out there, and why it's one of our top probiotic strains. The third probiotic is called Bifidobacterium longum. I know these have lovely names. Basically what this does is this increases lactic acid, and what lactic acid does is, again, it increases the acidity of the digestive tract, which helps inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria, aka Candida. It also can help with constipation, reduces inflammation in the bowels. You've heard of, I think it's called chronic bowel inflammation or inflammatory bowel disease or something like that. That's what they're referring to. Can prevent high cholesterol levels and can prevent development of allergies. If you didn't know, you can actually develop allergies throughout your life. You don't have to be born with them. One day you might have an allergic reaction to peanut butter where you've never been allergic to peanuts before. This particular probiotic can actually help prevent that from happening. One kind of bold statement that I read about this particular strain that I hesitate to mention, but I think it's important to know, is that it actually has properties that scientists believe may help prevent colon cancer. So that's something that's, me personally, I think everybody should be on a probiotic for reasons like that, prevention of diseases in the future. The next one is my personal favorite, Lactobacillus plantarum. This lives in your gut and keeps disease-causing microorganisms from flourishing. So it's going to stop them from growing and overgrowing in your system. It also creates a healthy barrier in your colon to keep dangerous bacteria from penetrating the lines of your intestines and entering your bloodstream. So the analogy that I read was kind of like icing sticks to a cake. This probiotic sticks to the lining of your intestines, and it stops the bacteria, the bad bacteria, from permeating those intestines and getting into your bloodstream and causing diseases. It also helps treat symptoms from IBS, Crohn's disease, helps heal colitis, ulcerative colitis. These are some other benefits that have been seen from people in studies. This isn't specifically to ProBio5. This is specific to this strain of bacteria. These are pretty big, guys, so listen to these. In pregnant women, this strain can ensure that they have healthy bacteria in their birth canal for newborns. As a mom, I actually didn't realize that one of the big benefits of having a vaginal birth is the healthy bacterial in your birth canal. And that's why probiotics are almost always approved by your doctor, to make sure that you have healthy bacteria in that birth canal to pass onto the newborn. Autistic children, it can help alleviate a lot of digestive issues. If you guys are not familiar with autism in children, I know we have a couple of ambassadors that do have autistic children, and one thing that they say is it helps alleviate a lot of their digestive issues. Digestive issues are huge with autistic children. Can help with symptoms of ADD and ADHD. I hear this all the time. I never knew why, but apparently it's from the probiotic that can actually help with those symptoms. This is the biggest part to me. Antibiotics. This particular strain is actually resistant to almost all antibiotics. If you're not familiar, antibiotics, they kill everything. They kill all your bacteria, good and bad. They don't discriminate. They kill all of it, which is why women are so prone to developing yeast infections after they take antibiotics. Well, this particular strain is resistant to most antibiotics, so it will actually help prevent a lot of side effects that people get from antibiotics, such as yeast infections, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, inability to eat, things like that. If you get on strong antibiotics, there's a lot of really, really bad side effects that can come along with it. And again, it will survive, which ensures that the yeast overgrowth will not happen. The last probiotic is called, and this one I will butcher, Saccharomyces boulardii. This is actually a yeast. Some people question, well, why do you have yeast in your probiotic? Well, this is a healthy yeast. If you guys have ever heard of brewer's yeast, this is actually just like brewer's yeast, and it's actually very healthy for you. So just like probiotic strains help kill bad bacteria, this actually helps rid your body of bad yeast. It functions like a probiotic in your body. It helps regulate the intestines and protect them from pathogens that can damage the intestinal lining. It helps regulate parts of the immune system and keeps intestinal barrier functions up and running. It's been studied a lot that defects in your intestinal barrier have been linked with a lot of different GI or gastrointestinal diseases. It also has been shown to help with different types of diarrhea. I didn't know there was different types of diarrhea, y'all, but there is. There's like 5 different types of diarrhea, and it's pretty crazy, but I'm not going to get into that. But there's like 5 or 6 different types of diarrhea, so it can help with different types of diarrhea. I think so, right? Another one that can help with lactose intolerance. It can help with acne, yeast infections, high cholesterol, fever blisters, IBS, and Crohn's disease. So just by thinking back to all the things that I just talked about from all those probiotics, now you can kind of see why our probiotic has such a wide variety of benefits, and why they get all these different benefits from it that they really never actually expected, like the cystic acne. My probiotic got rid of my psoriasis. I give it to my children, to my 22-month-old twins. One of them had chronic constipation. The other one had psoriasis. Both of them have pretty much cleared up to this point. The last ingredient in the probiotic is the grapeseed extract. Grapeseed extract has a huge variety of benefits. Some of them are a little bit more proven than others, but we particularly use it as an antifungal in our ingredient, or in our ProBio5. It is not only an antifungal, but it actually has antibacterial properties as well. It is an antioxidant. If you guys don't know what antioxidant is, in layman's terms, it helps protect your cells against damage, which can prevent future illnesses and diseases caused by damaged cells. I'm not going to go into free radicals and all that, but that's basically what an antioxidant is. Grapeseed extract is a traditional remedy for conditions related to the heart and the blood vessels. It's very good for circulation, hardening of the arteries, which is atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor circulation, as I mentioned, and even nerve damage and eye damage caused by diabetes. So those are all of the ingredients in the probiotic and why it works the way that it does. And as I said before, I really never believed in probiotics until I tried ProBio5. My children take them. My 86-year-old grandma takes it. My entire family takes it. I've gotten off of sleeping pills by taking it, and I can guarantee you it's that. I actually have had psoriasis my entire life on my scalp, and I started taking probiotic, and I thought maybe it was just a coincidence that it went away because it is aggravated during times of stress. Well, I ran out one time for about 2 weeks, and my psoriasis came back. So I can tell you that I'm 100% convinced that that is the reason why it has gone away. You've seen the testimonials about the cystic acne. Y'all, that is painful, the cystic acne. Some of the testimonials, look up Rachel Rogers if you've never looked up her testimonial before. It really, really, really does help. I know Kelly's got a really good testimonial for her daughter with acne, and she had tried everything. And a lot of the treatments for acne, I mean, they're chemicals that people are putting in their bodies. They're not healthy. These are chemicals. And to be able to rid your body of this just by taking something natural that's in some foods, it's not in probiotics, guys. It's really not. It's in there a little bit. You have to eat gallons of yogurt to equal one pill of our probiotic. From a dosaging perspective, I saw somebody was asking about dosaging. You want to start low. There is going to be, for most people, candida die-off. You heard all the symptoms that can happen from candida. So you don't want to completely overload your system right away with it. We don't do a loading phase like a lot of supplements do. We actually start small and continue up. So it's recommended to just start with one. You take it prior to bed, and then you can increase as you see how your body responds to it. The die-off symptoms can be nausea, lethargy, headaches, itching, things like that. It's very similar to detox, which we kind of talked about with the Slim. So a lot of people get those confused, but this is specific to the candida actually dying in your body, which it's a good thing. That means it's working. It sucks, but it means it's actually working. We cannot market it as for children. I know a lot of people ask, why doesn't it say it's for kids? We can't say it's for children. But I can tell you that a lot of people give it to their kids. I wish I would have done it a long time ago for my kids. I tried everything for Jordan's, for my daughter's psoriasis, and nothing worked until I actually tried this. And now we open up the capsule and we mix it into yogurt one time a day for them. They split it between the two of them. And I promise you, if I don't give it to them, Jackson gets constipated. He was born with chronic constipation, and that's a big problem for a little kid. And he can't tell you the kind of pain that he's in, but it makes a big difference. I don't know if Millie's on right now. I don't think she's on. And I won't give you too much information about her son, but when she first started giving it to her son, he has some digestive issues because of a medical condition that he has. And he was unable to actually eat without vomiting. He vomits up everything, whole foods, everything that he eats. He's the same age as my twin, so he's less than 2 years old. She has twins also. And I remember a week after she bought ProBio5, she was so happy. She messaged me telling me that he had eaten Cheerios for the first time without vomiting. That might not be a big deal to some of you guys, but for those of us that have kids, to clean up vomit every time your kid eats, that's a big deal. But number two, the pain that a kid like that is going through, I mean, that's huge. To be able to just improve the quality of life that he has, that's really big. I saw a message, somebody asking for dosaging for a 4-year-old. I would always suggest starting with either half or one, and then kind of going up from there. I personally would start at half of one just to kind of see for the first week how they do, and then increase from there. I know a lot of parents who give 1-year-olds full capsules, but they started at a half or maybe even a quarter. I've read testimonials of people giving it to their 3-month-olds. They will give it to them in formula. You can mix it into yogurt like what I do with my kids. I'd have to say it doesn't have a taste because they don't ever complain or spit it out or anything. I just mix it into their yogurt. You can put it in applesauce. We put it in oatmeal this morning. I have put it in milk. It doesn't mix the best with milk, but I think with formula, because of the thickness of it, if you have an infant, it'll mix better with milk. Were there any other questions about it? I think we've covered pretty much everything.
I actually have a question. Does it affect that you put it into something hot?
Not that I've read. I can't answer that question 100%. But in all the reading that I've done, I haven't read anything about it. My personal perspective is I wouldn't do it. For the same reason not to put Slim in something warm. When you heat things up, it can kind of degrade the nutrient value in it. So me personally, I would prefer to put it in something room temperature or cold.
Okay. So when you said you put it in oatmeal, you let it cool.
We don't use instant oatmeal. This is for the kids that we just mix with milk and stir up. Yeah, so it's not the kind that we actually microwave, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And again, I never came across that in the reading that I was doing, because I read a lot about probiotics because I really wanted to kind of dig into why all of these ingredients work. Because like I said, I know Marissa had a specific customer that wanted a very, very, very specific strain. And I kind of thought, well, I'm thinking one of our strains does the same thing as what she was asking for. And so I wanted to know what each thing did. So I have read a lot about probiotics today. I haven't come across that, but my preference and my recommendation would be to stick with something room temperature or cold.
Okay.
Anybody else? Tracy. Yes, you can increase it if you don't see your issues getting better. Thank you for asking that. Dosaging for adults, you start at 1, then you can increase to 2. I think most of us typically stop at 2. I personally take 2, but you can take as many as 4. Don't ever tell your clients or your customers to start at 4 or even 2, because they're going to have some severe die-off and they will probably quit.
Melissa, I take 4, but that's 3 years in the making. So I've built up for 3 years to take 4 overnight.
Right. And people with more severe issues, like, I know Kelly had some health concerns, some big health concerns, and that's probably why she needed to take that many. I think for most people, 2 is probably enough. But for people with any of these severe health issues like adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue or cystic acne, things that are really serious and, are causing a lot of havoc on their bodies, then yes, they probably do need to take a little bit more. But yes, you can continue to increase the dosaging, I'd say. And maybe Kelly can help me out a little bit, because I stopped it too. Maybe Kelly, you can explain a little bit on how to know when you can increase or when you should increase, and how you know what balance is right for your body as far as how many to take.
I agree with you. I think the majority of people, 2 is totally fine. I would think after about a good 4 months, if you're still having, intense sugar cravings, or if you're still struggling with something like skin issues or anxiety or something else, autoimmune related, then I would up it to 1 more. Keep that for another month or 2, and then if it's still not, you can go ahead and try the 4, but I wouldn't do more than 4.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that I had a customer, she's unfortunately disappeared, but her dermatologist actually specifically recommended Plexus to her, and within 2 months, actually, she was up to 4. I wouldn't recommend that to people, and she did that on her own under her doctor's advice. She had a skin issue. I don't know exactly what it was called, but it caused, I would say it looks like ringworms, little rings on her skin. I don't know what it is. It's not ringworm, but it was caused by leaky gut. And if you guys have not researched leaky gut, research leaky gut immediately and all the things that it can cause. So, your doctor, specifically dermatologists, are going to be familiar with things like this. I found that dermatologists really, really are into probiotics. So your doctor might advise you to take more, and that's completely up to you and your doctor. But as far as, a general rule,
Do not tell your customers, go ahead and take 3 or 4 right now. No, start with 1 and just see how your body responds. And as Kelly said, give it a little while. I usually tell people take 1 for 2 weeks, and then you can up to 2 if you're not having severe die-off symptoms. After 2, you might want to give it a little bit longer before another month or so, like Kelly was saying, 3 months, 4 months, to kind of give your body time to react, because you don't want to take more than is necessary. Somebody posted a question that I didn't see, something about earwax. What was that?
It said, my granddaughter seems to get super bad earwax buildup where it turned white and is very painful and affects her hearing. Would ProBio5 be something to consider for her?
It's very possible. I think it would be worth a try. I can't tell you yes or no, because there can be a lot of reasons for stuff like that. I personally think the earwax buildup. Now, I don't know about it turning white. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. I think that a lot of earwax buildup might be a hereditary thing. But as far as the being painful and things like that, something going on. So it's very possible that is related to gut health. So I would give it a shot. It's certainly not going to hurt to try it and, kind of go from there. My pediatrician recommended a probiotic when my kids were, they were preemies, and he recommended a probiotic when they were 3 months old. So, it's not going to hurt a child regardless. Don't overdo it by any means. But it's definitely worth a shot. I know earwax is a very odd thing, and I don't know a lot about it or why it's produced or anything like that. And I've never heard about it turning white. I'm sorry, I can't really give you too much information about that.
Well, that's what I thought too. It was weird, and I'm like, well, why don't you clean her ears?
I don't know. That's a very bizarre thing.
Yeah. I'll tell you that my oldest, Caitlin, she's 21, but she had the waxiest ears I've ever seen. They used to have to put it looked like a crochet needle down her ear at the pediatrician's, and they would pull tons of it out. So honestly, I would think probiotic would be effective for that. I can't guarantee it, but in the 3 years that I've been doing this, I'm amazed by what our probiotic does. Even dandruff. I had a lady have really bad dandruff. She had it for 40 years, her entire life. And she had used medicated shampoos and, the whole 9. And that was the first thing she noticed on the ProBio5. And she's like, I cannot believe it, So it's crazy. It's weird stuff that you don't think of that is gut related.
Yeah. Okay. I'll cover
to it. Marlena, remind me I'm sorry, my brain is I've been off for a few days. So remind me exactly what we were talking about. No, you're not there. Marlena, can you unmute yourself? Oh, the proof. Okay, so Marlena had a customer asking, you will get these people that want their scientific research. They want to know exactly what, we have researched and we've studied in the clinical trials that we've done. And, we don't have those studies specifically for our products as a whole. So she wanted to know 100% why does it work and what studies have you done? I have not found, specific studies for our products, like I said, as a whole, but the information that I gave you tonight, I actually researched specifically, and these are from scientific articles that have citations and everything like that for why these strains do exactly what they do. So no, do we have a scientific study that says ProBio5 can help with this? No. And one of the reasons is because we already have a lot of scientific studies that prove or show that the possibility of each one of these different ingredients can lead to these benefits. So I hope that kind of answers your questions. I know that I actually asked that question the very first time that I joined. I asked Amanda about testing and things like that. From what I hear, we're going to be doing some testing. Maybe Kelly can help us out with that. I saw that on a video from somebody, a Jewel maybe. I'm not really sure if it's specific to just Slim or anything like that. But again, our ingredients that we use have been scientifically studied. No,
Right.
our products as a whole have not, but the ingredients have.
I always lead with that as well. I say, no, our Plexus itself has not. But if you do your research, and people should, about the plant-based products that we have, they will see a ton of scientific research. And yes, we are moving towards doing scientific clinical studies and having all of that in writing. And I don't know, there's a lot of detail that goes in with that. A lot of rules and regulations, but we are aligning ourselves so we can make those things available.
Can I add a little bit to that, Melissa?
Of course.
She was asking specifically, I think, was there anything, and she wanted Plexus particular, but I think she was looking for anything that showed that probiotics were good for people who had bad issues versus just how it's good for you, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, all she has to do is Google it. Google gut health and
right. But she was looking from a scientific standpoint. She's in nutrition for, what was she saying, Melissa? It's
I don't even remember. She's going into school for some type of nutrition, but and again, I understand the way it was presented was not the nicest way, but I completely understand what her hesitation is and what her questioning was, because I questioned Amanda on the same exact thing. Coming from a vitamin store, I know exactly how things were tested, and I knew what our manufacturing processes were. And when you're buying from an online retailer, I understand that people are a little hesitant because they think that something that's in a store is more proven than something that comes online. And that's just not true. That's not true at all. And, it's very important to know who's manufacturing your products, but also, what the ingredients actually do. And, I hesitate to get into I don't get into, I'll say, battles with people like that, because they're going to find something, they're going to find a reason to kind of knock down what you're saying. But these strains that are in there have absolutely been scientifically studied, and it's all over the internet. You can type in these names and Google scientific studies on these scientific research, and you can very, very, very easily find it. Now, I will say this. My brother, as some of you know, is a pharmacist. He's very anti-probiotics, and we fight about it all the time. And the reason why he is anti-probiotics is because he works in a hospital, specifically some with cancers and things like that. And there is a very, very, very small population of people that it's not good for. And I can't remember the exact reason why, but it's basically because they have so few healthy cells in their bodies that they don't want the probiotics attacking the healthy cells or something to that effect. So severely immune compromised people, you're talking about people with advanced HIV, those type of people. Those are the only people that I have ever seen that don't benefit from a probiotic. Asking about why Plexus isn't sold in stores. Do you know how much money it costs to market in stores? I mean, that's just that right there tells you
billions and billions of dollars.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
And who do you think benefits from that? Don't you think? Me, I worked in a vitamin store, so some of these are hard for me, were a hard transition for me. You would think it'd be easy, but it was hard for me to wrap my mind around why our multivitamin has, I'll say, 10 ingredients, where the multivitamins that I'm used to have 50 ingredients, and they're all 2,000% of what you need, and ours are at 100%. Well, when you look up the quality of the ingredients and the different ways that they're actually formulated, the simpler is actually kind of better. And if you go into a store and you say you go into Target, do you think you can go up to a person and go, hey, can you tell me which probiotic is going to work best for my psoriasis? Absolutely not. Now, you might be able to go to me at Vitamin World, and I might be able to tell you that. But I'll tell you from experience, not everybody can do that. The only reason why I know what I know is because I took the time to do my research. And because my company, Vitamin World, is actually one of the better ones because they're a manufacturer. So they made it their priority to make sure that their employees were trained. But I'll tell you, their stuff wasn't anywhere near as quality as Plexus was. So why would Plexus pay billions of dollars to not only market, but to also have these stores sell our stuff when they can be falsely represented? They can sit on their shelves, and let's be honest, I'll get more commission off of selling a Vitamin World brand product than I would off of a Plexus product because it's not manufactured by my company. So what do you think I'm going to sell? Money-wise, I'm going to sell a Vitamin World product, even if it's not better. Now, I wouldn't personally, but I'm just saying in general. People, they want to make money. And, that's it. There's I could go into a lot of reasons why I personally don't think they sell in stores. But I think that hearing testimonials from people, real life people, that it actually works. I mean, when you see certain, I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but when you see certain celebrities endorsing things on television, do you always believe that they take these products? Do you believe that Matthew McConaughey drives the car that he says he does in these videos? I don't think he drives that car at all. They're just paid to endorse it. And that might work for a little bit, but eventually people are going to catch on to things don't actually work. We'll go to Garcinia, okay? I had 12 different types of Garcinia in my store. People didn't come back and keep buying it because it didn't work. Because it wasn't formulated like ours is. And they didn't have people where they could go back. You can't call a vitamin store and go, okay, I'm not getting my results. This is what my dietary intake is every day. This is my water. This is what my schedule is. This, that, and the other. You can't do that. If you have a personal person that's invested in you and invested their time and their energy and their money, money might be secondary to many of us, but we care about the people that we're helping, and we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that they're getting the best benefit out of our products. That's my personal opinion on it.
You go, girl.
Yeah, that's spot on, Melissa.
Anybody else have any other questions? I know I've taken a long time tonight, but probiotic, it's huge, and I cannot tell you enough. I hated probiotics before ProBio5. I never, ever, ever believed in them, no matter what the research said. And I am a dang believer now. I mean, I give it to my kids, for God's sakes. Of course, I believe in it.
I know we're close to already being an hour on the call, but if you have to jump off, I totally understand. I am recording it, but we are going to, if you guys have nobody else has any other questions for Melissa? Going once? Going twice? If you do think of anything, please feel free to message us or, post it on the team page so we can all share. So I'm super excited to be sharing and talking about this with you guys. We're going to be discussing income producing activities, which is also called IPA. And no, it's not a beer. So we are going, there are three different ways to look at income producing activities, IPAs. There's the Perfect 10, there's the 5-3-1, and then there's the Power Hour. So the Power Hour, everybody's different, so you find whatever works best for you. The Power Hour is you want to make 2 to 3 new contacts. Make them personal. You want to connect with them. They can be online or it can be in person. So, reach out to your friend and say, hey, I was just scrolling through my Facebook. You look good, or just make a personal contact with that person. Ease into bringing up maybe Plexus. Or also, if it does get in, if you do get to talk about Plexus and they're not interested, make sure you always end with, okay, maybe Plexus isn't for you, but if you don't mind, I am looking for referrals. That's a good way to, not make the conversation awkward, and it ends, strong for you. Another one for the Power Hour is follow up. You want to follow up with 5 customers, whether it be old or new. And you want to follow up with 3 to 5 potentials, people that you've already talked to, about Plexus. I'm going to try to, so I know some of you guys are writing this down. Another thing is to call 2 people. I'm sure we all dread this one. I know I do, but I do try to pick up the phone every now and then. I know some of you guys, like, even just for me to get a little bit more comfortable on the phone and speaking about Plexus or just in general, I've been talking with a few more ambassadors over the phone rather than it being text message or Facebook. So, pick up the phone and get in the habit of using the phone. Another thing is that you want to post on Facebook, on the team pages, the group chats, or personal. So that's what you can include in your power hour. A lot of people get sucked into the Facebook world, and that's one thing that you want to avoid during your power hour. Whether you have a group chat going on and you go through and answer all the questions, that's not income producing for you. You want to make a list of whatever is important to you, and you want to complete whatever it is first, because throughout our time, and because we have busy lives and we all have kids, it's very easy to get sidetracked from your power hour or from what you're doing. So if you complete whatever's important first, at least you got that task done. And always, always, always make 2 to 3 new contacts. And that's one thing. A lot of people say, well, I don't have time, but if our minutes are like pennies. They all add up. So eventually over time, if you are putting in a good 5 minutes, it will eventually come back to you. So, some non-income producing activities, and I know I'm guilty of them, is periscoping. That's like an online, like almost like Facebook Live for those that don't know. Personal development, listening to YouTube videos, chatting with your team. Those are all considered not income producing activities, and it's super easy to get caught up in those. So you have to make sure you do your best to focus on your power hour for you and your business. Another thing that a lot of us do, and I'm sure Kelly can admit to this at times, is you go in your back office and hit refresh to see your points or to see anything that's changed. That is considered non-income producing activity. So do your best to focus on your power hour for you and your business. If you have to, put yourself in timeout, to make sure that you dedicate that hour for yourself. And that's called the power hour. I'm going to talk about the perfect 10 for those who went to Super Saturday or ended up going to order a welcome recently that got a welcome kit. Let's get started. Our new welcome kit is amazing. And if you would like, I think we would like to maybe do like a training on it and go over some materials that's in our kit for those that didn't get one. But I highly recommend, I believe they're available right now, so I highly recommend purchasing one. And I believe they're like $16.95. But in that, they talk about the perfect 10. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit with you about what the perfect 10 is. The perfect 10 week. You can do this a day or a week, whatever works best for you. Is share Plexus products with 3 people. Share the Plexus opportunity with 3 people. Share your skills with 3 team members. And participate in 1 Plexus event. And you can also, sometimes I like to substitute if I'm not participating in a Plexus event, you can also use that as following up with someone. Another one is the 5-3 method. And I know that Angelina recently was asking about the 5-3 method. So the 5-3 method, the 5 means following up with 5 different potentials. Those could be people that are interested in Plexus, people that are asking to join your team, or if they're interested in the Plexus products. Or you could also reach out to 5 new customers, or reach out to, not your 5 new customers, but just reach out to your customers. And I like to sometimes reach out to my old customers. If they're not an active customer now, sometimes I'll reach out to them, because sometimes it could just be finances and they need help, or just a small reminder that you're still there pushing your business. The 3 is for 3 new people about the products or the business opportunity. And 1 is for training 1 ambassador, or educate yourself with at least 1 video, listen to a call, personal growth, do some research on leaky gut or candida, but at least train 1 ambassador or educate yourself. So those are just different ways that we can use to help build our business. I feel that, at times we get sidetracked and it's super easy. I know it happens to me a lot. Like, for an example, today I talked on the phone with 2 Plexus ambassadors, and maybe I didn't reach out to a total of 5 people, and maybe was able to reach out at least 3. So some days I know that I change in between the 5-3-1 method, the power hour, and also the perfect 10. So you just kind of have to find whatever works best for you or that day and what you have planned. Another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is set goals. Make it realistic and something that you can hit for yourself. Let's see. I have notes here. One thing that I feel that is that you don't want to let your comfort zone stand in the way. And one of the questions that you want to ask yourself is, do you care enough about people to overcome your fear? So I know some of you are hesitant to reaching out and sharing this opportunity with somebody. If you need help and you need a little bit of support and encouragement before you reach out to that person, please reach out to me or your sponsor or anybody else in the business, because we'd be more than happy to, support and coach you throughout trying to reach out to new potentials. So I think that's everything that I wanted to cover for IPA. Is there anything that anyone wanted to ask or share about regarding the IPA? Or anything that you've been able to, that works for you that you're doing right now that you'd like to share with the team? Crickets. That's okay. Sooner or later, you guys will come around. It's okay. All right. Well, I think next week I'm trying to do my best to tie in our team calls with some of our biggest struggles in the business. And that's, finding income producing activities, IPAs, and also time management. So next week, I believe Melissa will be sharing and talking about the BioCleanse. And then I will be sharing and talking about time management. It was BioCleanse, right, Melissa? Yes. Next week is BioCleanse? Okay, perfect.
And then we'll go to Boost and Accelerator after that.
Yes. So, all right. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop.
Odie, I was willing to share some IPA things that I tried today that were new for me.
Perfect. Please share.
One of the things that I did is, we all get invited to all these direct sales online parties and groups. And so what I've been doing is every time I get invited to one of these parties, I'm going to start sending a message to them explaining that I'm also in direct sales, you know, assuming it's not the same kind of product. And say, you know, I would be willing, I'd like to work together, you know, and share business referrals to kind of open up that network. And I haven't gotten any responses yet, but I'm hoping maybe, you know, to build some relationships that way.
That's awesome. I think that is really a great idea, especially like you said, if you're not in the same market, you know, everybody is looking for health supplements. And so I think that's an awesome idea. So thank you very much for sharing that with us.
And then the second thing I did is I went and revisited, I know back in December when we were not December, November, when we were trying to hit certain goals, everyone put out, you know, a call to action from their friends to let them post on their page. So I did that today, and I got multiple responses that allowed, that said that would be okay. And I think I had like 8 people who were open to it who let me do it. I haven't got any referrals from it yet, but I'm hopeful.
Hey, we're all planting seeds. That's what I told one of the girls today. I'm like, you know, it gets really quiet, you know, and then sometimes when it's quiet and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, your messaging is blowing up and people are reaching out to you left and right. I know that's happened with Tracy and Melissa a couple of times. All right. Does anybody like to share anything else?
Odie, I just want to touch on something real quick.
Okay.
Somebody asked about the welcome packs, and I think you guys are going to get an email tomorrow, but just so you're aware, they're on back order. So if you have a new ambassador, I know, total buzzkill on Jules' page today. I was like, no. Yeah, so not good news, but they're working really diligently to quickly get them back. We're sourcing them from overseas, so it took a long time. So they're trying to switch and have them sourced here in the States. So they are on back order. So if you do have a new ambassador, let them know they will not get a new welcome kit. But when they come in, they will automatically ship to the new ambassador. So they don't have to do anything above and beyond. They just won't get it right away. They're going to get something, you know, I don't know what, you know, little something impromptu until the welcome kit comes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And Melissa, you did a great job. I just wanted to tell you, I really appreciate you doing what you're doing, because this is something that is really helpful and useful to all the ambassadors. So we appreciate your hard work and all your, you know, time studying and, you know, presenting their products. So thank you for that. And I am leaving tomorrow. I'm going to be in Atlanta until Saturday. I'm going for Jules training. So I am going to be unplugged quite a bit. It's part of, you know, what they want us to do for the next couple of days. So I'm going to be kind of using Odie to kind of, you know, bear with everybody on the team and just answer questions and stuff. And I'll check in with her. So if you guys do have questions or anything, Odie is gracious to say that she'll be there to help answer questions. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys when I get back.
Thank you. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.